Good morning. It is Thursday, April 3rd, and today is day 51 of the session. So we are entering the home stretch. The legislative session by Constitution ends next Saturday at midnight. So we only have, after today, 9 more days to go in this year's session. Yesterday was day 50, which is known as crossover day. And that means that all bills, if they are to continue on for the remainder of the session, must have passed the House of Origin by yesterday. The only exception to that is the budget bill. And this year it's the House's turn to go first. So the House budget bill is on second reading today and will be up for passage stage tomorrow. There's been a lot going on at the Capitol this week. First off, Senate Bill 850 was pulled into the Rules Committee by the Senate earlier this week. That was a very problematic bill that the chamber engaged against last week and over the weekend. Under that bill, companies would have had to make a very declarative statement that they had no DEI or ESG policies and act in accordance with that in order to get some protections from being sued. So the bill was a very broad cause of action, and it also was very poorly defined. So I want to thank the Senate for looking at that bill, really giving it the due consideration it needed, and pulling it off the calendar and into the Rules Committee. That was a big win to get that bill stopped over this weekend. Now, we've also seen some good things pass. Yesterday, the West Virginia House of Delegates passed House Bill 3446. This is a chamber initiative that really is designed to help catch students who are falling through the cracks and not getting their FAFSA completed. In order to get many different types of state and federal aid, students must complete a FAFSA. So we had to rework this bill to overcome some concerns, but as it now stands and as it passed yesterday, the bill requires all high schools in West Virginia to offer assistance to any students in completing the FAFSA. Students who don't want to, not a problem. They can easily opt out and they're not required, and the bill no longer makes it a requirement for graduation. But again, the goal here is to go ahead and catch those students who are falling through the cracks and missing out on some real opportunities for their future. Later today, the Senate Judiciary Committee is taking up House Bill 2711. That is the Rule of Perpetuities bill. We talked about that several weeks ago when it first passed the House, but this bill extends the Rule of Perpetuities for trusts to 1,000 years. And we've seen other states, namely South Dakota, enact legislation like this and really see an explosion in back office banking jobs that deal with trusts. So this is a good bill that we've been championing for years, and it is moving through the process, and the Senate Judiciary Committee will be considering it later this afternoon. And also, we're continuing to encourage the House Judiciary Committee to take up Senate Bill 124, which lowers the statute of limitations on written and oral contracts. Right now, West Virginia's statute of limitations for written contracts is 10 years. There are only a total of 8 states that are that high. So this bill would help bring us into the mainstream of other states. So we are encouraging them to consider that bill and take it up, because this is a good bill that will just make sure that lawsuits are brought in a timely fashion when memories are still fresh, when facts are still relevant, and that they're not brought so late that it's difficult to go ahead and get all the facts needed for a trial. So that's a good bill that we're hoping to see move. We're going to continue monitoring a number of things. The microgrid bill, as an example, passed the House this week on a very large vote, so it is now in the Senate Economic Development Committee. Again, the chamber is neutral on that bill. We have members who have different views of that legislation, but we are continuing to monitor it closely. So again, we're going to check back with you next week. Next week will be the final week as we get across this weekend. But as always, if you have questions, please feel free to reach out at bdayton@wvchamber.com. And thank you for your continued support of the West Virginia Chamber.